bonds were issued without informing the bond holders, the investors, that there were violations in India. Now, if that is the substratum of the whole case, please note, the case is that you induced people in America to subscribe to these bonds without informing them that you were indulging in bribes to get contracts in India. Now, there is not a single piece of evidence in this indictment, nor has the Congress party, who today has again asked for an adjournment motion for discussion on this issue, given any evidence as to why any infractions of Indian law were concerned. Even the indictment of the US court does not talk about any bribery in India. It does not. It only says there was a conspiracy to bribe. There is no violation of the Foreign Corruption Prevention Act in India. Neither the Adanis nor even Adani Greens, which is the bond holder, which is the bond issuer, none of them have been cited as giving any bribes in India. So the case is only one that there was some intention, a conspiracy, a scheme to bribe Indian officials. But there is no evidence that it was carried out. It is not even suggested that it was carried out in India. So there is nothing to invest in India, and this adjournment motion and all this noise which the Congress party has made is completely misconceived. In India, there is no activity, even for the conspiracy alleged to have been taken place. Right? There is no evidence as to why they say there is a conspiracy. What is the evidence which proves that there was any conspiracy to bribe Indian officials to get these solar energy contracts? Kuch nahi hai. Nothing in the indictment. So, the Congress party is blindly relying on, an indictment against an Indian conglomerate which has done extremely useful business, undertaking useful businesses for India abroad, and it is trying to undermine them. It has succeeded in competition to get contracts for ports, etc., against many enemy countries of India. This is not in India's interest, and to blindly follow a US court indictment which gives no evidence and does not suggest that any of the Adanis or the company which issued the bonds, Adani Greens, have done any wrong in India. There is no, again I repeat, no case of any bribery in India in that indictment. Congress is reading too much into this indictment, and they are doing it for purely political purposes, and they have been aided, as is revealed by the timing of this leak, this indictment, by the democratic deep state. Now, this is a judicial order passed on indictment, but I regret to say that I don't know what evidence the judge who issued this indictment has acted upon.
Sir, recently देखा कि जो जिस तरह उनकी reputation damage करने का try किया गया विपक्ष का, stock market पे बड़ा impact पड़ा, वो कैसे देखेंगे?
नहीं, देखिए, ये तो इंडिया ग्रोथ स्टोरी को रोकने के लिए एक साजिश है, उसमें कोई शक नहीं है. ये इसका जो टाइमिंग है, और आप देखते हैं कि जैसे भी ये न्यूज आता है अदानी के खिलाफ, हिंडनबर्ग द्वारा, अब ये इंडाइटमेंट द्वारा, हमेशा उसके बाद थोड़े टाइम के लिए अदानी ग्रुप का लॉस होता ही है. अब तो $2.4 बिलियन का लॉस जाहिर है.
Sir, you know that on the first day of the parliament itself, many adjournment motions were being given by the Congress party. Today also many adjournment motions regarding this particular issue have been given. You are a parliamentarian yourself.
I'm not a parliamentarian right now.
Yeah, but you have been a parliamentarian. But how do you see this? Do you think that there is a conspiracy of the foreign forces who are behind this? Because BJP have been alleging the Soros link behind the Hindenburg and everything. How do you see this, sir?
Isn't it manifest that you are repeatedly going after one corporate group, trying to embarrass the Prime Minister by saying that he is closely aligned? He is an industrialist who has executed many projects very successfully, both in India and abroad, in infrastructure, of which we should be proud of. Now, don't rush to condemn him blindly following a US indictment. You are behaving like the local agents of a foreign power that has an interest in stopping India's economic growth and undermining economic economic policies, our growth story, and our stock markets. And you indirectly affect the retail investors.
The opposition MPs have been constantly accusing government of cheating Gautam Adani, and they are insisting for a JPC in this regard. How do you see this demand?
Unless the Congress party puts out in the public domain credible evidence that there has been some wrongdoing in India, there is no need for any inquiry either by any authority in India or for a JPC. You please put out the evidence. You can't blindly follow without application of mind. You only want to create some kind of noise and disrupt Parliament. This disruption of Parliament on such, it's not even flimsy evidence. It's non-evidence. There is no evidence. This is completely unwarranted.
सर, पूरा मामला कोर्ट में हिंदी में बता देंगे.
देखिए, जो इंडाइटमेंट यूएस कोर्ट ने किया है अदानी ग्रुप के खिलाफ, यानी उसमें काफी नाम्स हैं, लेकिन उस इंडाइटमेंट में ये नहीं बताया गया है कि भारत में कौन से कानून का उल्लंघन हुआ है. उस इंडाइटमेंट में ये नहीं कहा गया है कि किसी को भी, कोई भी पब्लिक ऑफिशियल भारत में को घूस मिला है अदानी ग्रुप या उनके ऑफिसर्स द्वारा. वो स्पष्ट है, आप इंडाइटमेंट पढ़िए, उसमें नहीं है. इंडाइटमेंट सिर्फ ये बताता है कि एक साजिश था और उसके बारे में भी कोई सबूत नहीं है कि ये साजिश था ब्राइब करने के लिए, लेकिन उसके लिए भी जैसे मैंने कहा कोई भी सबूत नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है. कांग्रेस पार्टी अंधविश्वास के आधार पे इसको यहां पे एक इश्यू बनाने की कोशिश में है. कांग्रेस पार्टी को कम से कम, मैं नहीं कहता हूं कि यदि यहां पे कुछ रॉन्ग डूइंग हुआ है, कुछ गलत कानून का उल्लंघन हुआ है अदानी ग्रुप या उनके ऑफिसर्स द्वारा, कि अथॉरिटीज को या जेपीसी को स्थापित नहीं किया जाना चाहिए. मैं सिर्फ इतना ही कहता हूं कि पहले आप सबसे पहले सबूत पेश कीजिए, उसके बाद देखना चाहिए कि ये सबूत काफी है कि नहीं. Yeah.
Sir, how do you see the overall charges made in a US court and now the latest development taken place with?
See, President Trump has said that the Department of Justice is a farce. This tweet the Congress never looks at. He's a president-elect. He's making a very responsible statement. The DOJ is acting in unseemly haste. Look at the timing. They are now almost out of power. Still, at this time, it is what is called a scorched earth policy. Just like the Biden administration has escalated the matter by escalating the nature of the weaponry which they are supplying Ukraine, and Ukraine is suffering because of it. Russia has retaliated. This is also a scorched earth policy. Perhaps they noticed that Gautam Adani complimented President Trump on his success in the presidential elections, and maybe this is why, and it came soon after that. Obviously, this has been going on for some time, but the haste in which it is done, the sketchiness of the indictment, the total absence of any evidence provided for the indictment shows that this is what I call a hatchet job.
How do you see the opposition parties' behavior on seeking adjournment regularly in the ongoing Lok Sabha sessions?
Look, this is clearly a political tool. They have just had a rout in the Maharashtra elections. I mean, they've been successful winners in coalition, of course, on the coattails of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha. But Maharashtra was a prize which they were very confident of winning. So this is a diversionary tactic, completely diversionary tactic. They have no other issues. You will see that constantly the Congress party in particular and the India alliance sometimes harps on only two issues in which there is foreign meddling. One is Adani and the other is Manipur. These are both issues which they should stay away from, and I regret to say that it is not in the country's interest to keep promoting these and playing with fire.
Thank you so much.